Is this for like a streamer?
Oh, was this the one that you got?
It's for the streamer, yeah.
Are you gonna do some streaming?
I mean,
dude, stream some Apex, bro. show them a little bit of cleavage and
yeah, just show some cleavage.
Dude, put on a little.
I can get up and do some stretches every now and then in booty shorts, you know.
There you go. Are you the only one who lives here?
Yeah.
That's super cool.
What a life. Married in May, and so kind of kicked everybody out.
Oh yeah.
That's cool, dude. You just bought this place?
Mm-hmm. They just chill about it.
I actually did just buy it. I am a homeowner.
Dude, congrats. How old are you?
27.
Okay. So you're rocking to that, dude. 27. You've started a couple, like.
So I've sold those, so I get residuals from that one. They did 180,000 units last year.
So you're getting some nice royalties off of it. What's your royalty percentage, if you don't mind me asking?
5%. It's about 50 cents a unit.
Okay, that's not bad at all. Yeah. 50 cents a unit, and they're how many you say they did?
180,000.
Yeah. just 90K. It's like not.
I had to split that with a couple people, and so it's not as much as it could be. But
that is super cool. Then what got you into all of this? We're probably gonna talk about this stuff later.
Yeah, that's why I started recording.
Oh really? I'm just like so interested. But
no, it's all good. Okay, so I guess that's a good place to start. So welcome everyone to the Mildly Interesting Monday podcast is what I'll call it, even though we're recording on a Wednesday. I'm gonna try to do releases on like Monday nights ish. So
the MIM.
Yeah, the MIM.
Welcome to MIMS.
So.
Is that based off of the subreddit, Mildly Interesting?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you talk about the things on the subreddit?
We could.
Yeah, we totally could. I do have like a bunch of ideas. It's literally where I just find stuff throughout the week that's mildly interesting, and then
you gotta be careful bringing guests on and telling them that you only find them mildly interesting.
It's like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, that makes me feel bad.
No, we don't really want to bring like 10 out of 10s on though, you know, because that'll be like the super interesting Mondays and it just doesn't flow.
It was mainly I had 2 other guys that canceled, so I just like kind of fell onto this one, you know.
Then I'll make sure to hold my good stuff back.
Okay. Just make it mildly interesting.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm Nick Yarro, and I'm here with my co-host
Jaden Lynn,
and then we have our special guest here also.
Super special, mildly special, Tanner Yarro.
Awesome. And crazy story about Tanner right now, who also happens to be my cousin. He had a Kickstarter campaign that just finished a couple days ago, like 2 or 3 days, that reached 943,000. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we are right now.
Yeah, so just short of $1 million.
We'll hit it though. We're still doing pre-sales through BackerKit, and we just launched the Indiegogo In Demand campaign. Mm-hmm. We'll start putting some marketing funds behind those 2 pre-order things and hit $1 million for sure.
That's so cool.
That's really awesome. So for those of you that don't know what the actual Kickstarter is, it's a book for Dungeons and Dragons players that want to have specific maps for situations that have been already illustrated and put inside of a book. And you said there's around 30 maps in it, right?
So 32 for the final production number. There's 30 in this prototype that we have on the table. But yeah, 32 maps, not just for D&Ders, it's for any tabletop RPG that kind of fits the fantasy setting. And then hopefully soon we do a sci-fi one. The next 2 will probably be, maybe the next one will also be fantasy, and then maybe a sci-fi one depending on the market. I don't think the market is as big for sci-fi, but
oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Like even like Dungeons and Dragons, for those of you guys who don't play Dungeons and Dragons, it has a super cult following. Like me and my friends play it. Nick plays it and stuff. Some of his friends. We need to start a world together. So we need to,
yeah.
I don't even know. We haven't done that yet. But like for example, there's a place called like what is it, like D&D.com or whatever, D&D Online. That's where I usually like manage my characters and stuff. And just to get the books digitally, it costs like $300 to like download everything. So it's such a cult following. But if you just like know the people who play the game, like everybody's willing to pay for it. So like the market has a pretty big market. So.
And I mean, I've been in the game for a while too, and I've never seen really anything kind of like this before.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know the official game has their tile sets, but that's like, they're like, what, $25 a set, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like only a specific theme, so they have like 5 sets to collect at $25 each.
Yeah, and it's
So-
just tiles too. It's
Yeah.
not nothing set. You know.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about this book is it's what's the measurement? It's like 17 by 22.
17 by 22. This one actually lays flat better, but doesn't show off the cover as well.
Yeah, and the art on it is fantastic. Like
Yeah,
it's,
it's amazing art.
whereas like you see other stuff that's mainly just a tile set, it's literally just a giant grid that's laminated so you can draw on it. And I'll play in games where I'll be like, wait, what is that, a tree or a bush?
Yeah, it eliminates the need to have to sketch every piece out and be as descriptive as possible, and then you can spend more time being descriptive in your gameplay.
Yeah.
Spend more time killing things and looting the body.
Exactly. Which is really great because honestly, I just have like a stupid grid at home that I got from Amazon, and having to erase and draw on that thing every like 5 seconds is pure torture.
It's still good. Those grids are still awesome, and so a lot of the maps in the book are pretty open as far as detail goes, and every map that lays flat is dry erasable, which is every map in the book, so you can still sit there and add and subtract as you will. The last 2 pages are just an open field and a kind of a blank dungeon floor that allows you to do it. I think the biggest draw for the book, though, is the stickers, the color form stickers. They're plastic. They don't have any sticky stuff on the back. They just kind of static cling to the laminated surface. We have everything from horses to carriages, tents, dungeon walls, floors, fire, dead bodies, treasure chests, loot,
My favorite. Dead bodies.
boats.
Boats, yeah. You also have a bunch of like spell effects, right, too? Like
Yeah, we have
songs
4
and
pages,
stuff.
like 50 spell effects. Tried to keep them pretty generic looking, but I think we covered our bases there.
That's cool, because that's honestly the thing that kind of like appealed to me the most is I can't even tell you how many times you'll read a spell in D&D and then you'll use it and then completely forget that it has like lasting effects,
Residual
right?
effects, like a wall of fire. Or
Exactly, and then you'll just forget that the wall's there like 2 turns later.
Yeah, somebody walks through it. They're like, "Oh, I don't take any damage. Like,
Surprise.
we forgot." You know,
Yeah.
oh, that's super cool.
Or like that a fireball can like light things on fire. Like a lot of
Yeah.
people just use it where it's like all stat stuff based.
Mm-hmm.
So it's honestly really cool that we have the stickers in.
Yeah, you're able to track it a lot better, and it does allow you to have kind of different levels of immersion for the game that you wouldn't otherwise have.
Cool. So what kind of helped you come up with the concept of this?
Yeah, because this isn't your first game you made, right? Or like board you made. You were talking about some. I don't know if you guys, if it was recording or if you guys heard earlier, but he's made a couple other board games and toys and stuff. So what kind of what's the concept behind all of this? What makes you come up with it?
Just spending time doing it. Everybody, and I get this question a lot, how do you come up with this stuff? And I spend hours every day actively trying to come up with new ideas. And people think, oh, it just comes to you or you dream about it or whatever. But I set aside time every day to just sit and think and throw ideas around and innovate. And I think everybody has it in them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to take time aside, set your phone down, and just try to come up with something new. And people get disheartened very quickly. But if you do it every day, you practice, I think it's something that you can get better at and better at.
Yeah, for sure. And if I can contribute to that, because I also own my own business and stuff aside from doing all this and going to school. Honestly, because I feel like when you do something like this, right, so many people are like, oh, that's so cool, like that's so original, all this stuff, but it really just does come down to that. Like personally, I'm sure you have the same thing. You have like a sketchbook or like something that you write down all of your ideas in. I've got the same thing for the ideas that I do for like my personal business, right? And I feel like honestly, anything that you want to be successful at and anything that you're passionate about, it just takes the time and it takes recording down your ideas and it takes the research. But like, if you actually take the time to do it, you can be successful at it. Because if you're passionate about your idea, you're going to get other people to be passionate about it too.
So how'd you get into your thing? You do staffing for events?
Yeah. So mine was actually funny because it just kind of fell in my lap. Because I've always had a passion for business and doing organization, and events have always been fun. Like I've always loved dancing and like wedding food. The whole atmosphere has always been great. And so one time, it was actually last year because I've only had the business for about 9 months. So last year I was working a different job, and basically one of our clients approached my now business partner and was like, hey, you're kind of doing this business model for catering services. Could you do a wedding? And he thought about it, and he approached me because I was like kind of his like go-to guy for it. And he's like, dude, do you think we could do this? And I was like, well, we're doing this already, just me and you for this business, and we're making them all of this money. So we sat down and we looked at the business model, and we looked at things we actually enjoyed doing.
Hiring caterers.
Yeah. And so that was...
So what's the business model? Is it like...
Mm-hmm.
Is it like kind of like a... I don't know, Uber, where you can just like...
So that...
Post jobs and you get kids to sign up?
Yeah, so that was what their business model was. And the reason why we found that wasn't as effective is because it was catered towards caterers and kind of like doing just like on the go jobs and stuff. So we took that idea and we're like, okay, that's how they're doing it, and it's kind of failing because there's no loyalty, there's no brand loyalty at all, right? So we took that and we're like, okay, what if we do events for? We started off with weddings, right? Because that was the lady what she wanted us to do, and we said, what if we just start with some of our friends and some of our family members, people we trust. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk to them and be like, hey, do you want to come run this event? And normally you have like a catering company come in, or the people who are staffing it are event planners or people from the venue itself. But they charge so much money for that. So we looked at how much money people were charging, how much we could pay our people reasonably. And we said, okay, we're going to pay our people well. But at the same time, we're not going to gouge them like all these other people do. And we're going to bring them in. And then from there, we realized, okay, weddings are great, but what about corporate events, right? And we're not going to be a temp agency, but we're only going to specialize in events instead of just like doing.
How is it different from a temp agency? Are your employees like full time, but you just get them jobs where you can?
Yeah, so like right now, since we were like basically just started off, or not started off, but we've been going for a minute, it's kind of been more of like contractor work. So when we have jobs, we'll get them the jobs, you know. But for example, we actually just signed a contract last week, which is way cool. That's basically going to move some of those contractors more to like not full-time, but like more part-time positions. And they'll still be considered contractors until our business is more established. But on top of that, what's so unique about the business is it's not just the staffing, but it's the networking that we do. So it's not just we're going to get you the people to do everything, but we're also going to get you the tables, we're going to get you the food, we're going to do all of that for you, and we're going to deliver that to you. And let's say you actually want an event planner, we have those, right? Let's say you don't want an event planner, we can just give you all the connections you need to make your event happen without actually needing a planner.
So do you have like a place that you guys use all the time, like some kind of a like a site that you go to?
For like meetings,
for
or
different
for
events,
the
and
venues.
stuff, yeah.
We found that most of the events that we have been doing so far we've like sourced them after the after they've kind of started with everything, and usually a venue is the first thing that people find. So we found that most of the time they already have a venue, but we're also working with 6 different venues right now we're contracted with, so that when people do come to us, we can offer them places to go.
Who's the we?
So we just me and my business partner. His name's Ruben. Shout out to Ruben, cool dude. Went to high school with him at PG, so super cool. And it's just me and him right now. We're the only owners, the only partners of the business, and we're the only ones doing it full time. So I mean, I quit my job to do it as well, just because, you know, if you follow your dreams and you believe in it, it doesn't always work out, but if you do it enough, you know, then you'll go through hard times. Because like right now, like I had to like move home with my parents and stuff, but now it's starting to pick up, and by the end of the summer, like next year, hopefully I'll be able to buy my own place like you have. So
cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Follow your dreams, people. It leads to good stuff.
So what were some things that kind of happened with the book while you were making it that didn't really go as planned, or was it all perfect?
It was all perfect.
Yeah, like Tetris.
So I originally planned, like what?
Just like Tetris, like everything kind of
All the
falling in
blocks.
place.
No, I think Tetris is a good example for just like life in general, in that it's very difficult to keep everything perfect.
Yeah.
But no, it was, I'd originally planned to build an Instagram following, and from there build kind of a group of loyal followers that I use to help, you know, make different design decisions. And I think that's the most important thing if you have kind of an idea that's a product-based idea. Building kind of your loyal fan base is super big, because they're the early adapters. They're the first ones that are going to jump on and buy something that doesn't exist yet. And if they feel like they were a part of it, you know, they're going to share it on Facebook and say, hey, this was something that I actually helped with. And it gives them a level of like, you know, they feel really good about themselves, and I feel really good about myself at the end of the day because I built a product with them, they're my customers, and so bringing them into the part of the ideation process is the smartest thing you can do.
Yeah, and that's why Kickstarter's so great too, because it's almost like you just open up the idea to everybody, and you're like, you know, people can give you feedback on it. They can talk about things maybe they like or they want in the future, and then, you know, money talks.
Yeah, well, so that goes back to what I was saying is my plan was to build an Instagram following, build a loyal fan base, and build the product that way. And in the first 4 months, I had 10,000 followers on Instagram, 5,000 people tuning into Instagram Live. And from there, I was able to build an email list of like 1,000 people.
There you go.
And from that group, 1,000 people, I had 200 people that were loyal followers. And so I did that all in 4 months. We designed this book, and I kept sending emails out and blasts out to be like, hey, what do you guys think of this? Or what maps do you think are missing? So when it was time to launch on Kickstarter, I sent out one more email. I said, we're live, and we were funded in the first 12 hours. We were shared on Facebook 200 times.
And what was that first goal again?
$10,000.
$10,000, and you reached that in 12 hours. That's crazy.
So not super high. That was our lowest day that we did.
Oh, really? It was the first day?
The campaign ended up being shared on Facebook over 5,000 times.
Jeez. So what was kind of like an average demographic? Like, how much money would you raise daily on it?
So the average is kind of skewed because the last 3 days were almost $100,000 days.
Jeez.
So it pushed up our average to like $30K a day, but minus those days, we were between 15 and 20 a day.
Okay.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
but
really
I think
cool.
that was because we had that. I built that loyal group. That's what I was saying. Everything kind of just worked out. I wanted to build the loyal group. I built the loyal group. They helped to get funded initially in the beginning, and then we stayed in the top 4 most popular products on Kickstarter because we got funded so quickly that it was easy for people to find us.
Yeah.
So I do want to backtrack a little bit and get back to the Instagram page that you were kind of talking about. It's currently sitting at 14.2K followers. And the thing that's so great about it is you managed to somehow get the name of DMs Guild, even though that's the name of the actual like D&D site, right? It's
Yeah, DMsguild.com is,
How
is
did
owned
you
by...
get that? That's amazing.
I just grabbed it.
It just happened to not be taken.
I just grabbed it, yeah.
Wow.
I don't think there's any laws in place. Maybe there are. Maybe they can just send me a cease and desist. Maybe they just want to buy it. That'd be better. But it's Wizards of the Coast owns DMsguild.com, and I own DMs Guild Instagram.
I mean, I'm
There you go.
sure it's not.
Yeah. If it's Instagram and it's not taken, you can totally do it.
I don't know what the
There's-
laws are on that.
Well, actually, it's funny. My business partner, right? This other company he was working for. One of his jobs was to go out and find like
People
that kind of not infringing, but people who took their stuff on social media that they want to use, and they offered to buy the pages from them. So that's totally something that they might end up doing is just buying your name from you off of Instagram.
That's pretty funny though.
Yeah, it's funny like the names you can like grab. You usually think everything's taken, and then you like look it up and you're like, oh, it's still there. So that's cool.
So what kind of got you into Dungeons and Dragons?
Your dad. Yeah.
Me too.
There you go. The minis are cool. Growing up, I hung out with the cooler kids, but it was always something that was in the back of my head. Like I would probably enjoy that. And then I watched, the Community episode where they played the Harmon Quest
with Fat Neil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was really into Rick and Morty, and Rick and Morty did the writer of Rick and Morty also did Community, and he had another show that was D&D based called Harmon Quest.
Yeah, I've seen Harmon Quest.
It's pretty funny. And so after watching those, I just I had to just try it. And then I loved it.
That's super funny. When did you just ask my dad one day, and he's like, yeah, let's just play it?
No, he just every time we go to your house, your dad always had all the minis. He was always painting them, so that's kind of where the curiosity came from. So it was kind of indirectly from your father, but I always saw the minis and always thought this is really cool.
That was funny. I can remember specifically right before I left on my mission, I bought a Dungeons and Dragons starter set that came with the character sheets and then the little book on how to create a character, and then it had the little mini campaign in the back.
Yeah.
And I 100% planned on doing a tiny little session to kind of figure out if I liked it or not, but I never got around to it.
Yeah.
And it's just super funny because I think literally I'm gonna say 2 weeks after I got back, I played a game with Tanner and my dad. and I was like pretty much hooked ever since. It was just so great.
Family's like literally. 'Cause the reason why I started playing is because my mom played D&D. Yeah. So like,
Mom,
dude, my
that's
mom,
sick.
she's well, we used to play World of Warcraft, dude.
Mhm.
She was the guild master.
Your mom was a guild
My
master.
mom was a guild master, and we were the #1 alliance guild on our server. Just to give you an idea of
If
like.
that's not the most badass thing
Uh-huh.
I've ever heard.
And then I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like family like really gets you in. But I just remember for like Christmas we used to get like little figurines all the time that we'd like go and like hand paint together as a family that we'd use for D&D. It's a family thing. It really
It's
is.
normal.
It's
It is.
normal. It's so cool.
That's really funny.
Yeah, my mom, dude, she's something else. Tell you what, when it comes to
So like,
Dungeons and Dragons and games.
if you ever wanted to like piss her off, instead of yelling "I hate you" or something, you can just yell "For the Horde" and run out of your house.
Yeah, basically either that or I'll kill her character in Dungeons and Dragons when she ticks me off. You know,
That's funny.
just gank her, call it good.
So Tanner, who do you think was probably your favorite character you've made in Dungeons and Dragons so far?
My favorite character is Steve.
Steve.
Everybody's backstory is always, my parents are dead, my family is dead, I'm here to avenge them.
I don't know who I am. I'm looking.
Who
for
am I?
A quest of self-discovery.
I need
and
to
revenge.
do something to make sure that my arc is over.
Yeah, or they're like royalty and they've been raised by wolves. Like it's the backstories follow the same 4 tropes over and over again. So my favorite character I ever played is Steve. He's married. He has 4 kids. He adventures as his full-time job, and he can go out and do any adventure as long as he's back by 8 for dinner. He also does an adventure on Saturdays or Sundays, and all he really wants to do is ride a horse.
Ride a horse.
So that's his goal. He loves his family. Both of his parents are still alive. His wife's parents are still alive.
Wow.
He even has a great grandparent that is still alive. His family is healthy and
He
happy.
sees during like the holidays and stuff.
Yeah, and he just kind of adventures. He lost his job at the winery, and so he adventures full time now. And I created him because I rolled really low stats. So he's not really good at anything, but he's good enough at everything.
What is he like
He's a bard.
Okay. Is he a human bard?
Yeah, and the only reason I made him a bard is because I think bards are the most like tweakable class.
Yeah.
You can kind of make a bard whatever you want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially with all their colleges.
Yeah, so in the game, like none of my players refer to him as a bard. My DM doesn't refer to him as a bard. He's Steve, and I use the bard to grab spells that would allow me to create a character that isn't really good at everything. But
It'd be like if an office man were to just kind of go out and fight dragons.
yeah, he's just an average Joe. He's a jack of all trades, master of none.
That's
Average
pretty great.
Steve.
Average.
Yeah, average Steve.
Steve mediocre.
But no, other than that, he's just there to have fun. Other characters are like, I have this note from my deceased father who's a king, and I must discover why the castle was... And I'm just like, I'm Steve, I'm here to adventure. And outside of that,
Just hands out like business cards.
hopefully we could ride a horse one of these times.
Sick of walking
That's
everywhere.
I love that that's like his arc. It's just like ride a horse.
He's fine with everything. As long as he's back in time for dinner. As soon as if we're in a dungeon and it passes that time, like he starts to really stress.
Does it give him like disadvantage and stuff on his rolls?
No, but he just stressed. He wants to like hurry it up. Like he loves his wife, so he wants to get home, see his kids. He's a good father, good husband.
Sounds like he needs to become a master of teleportation so he
There
can
you
just
go, yeah.
get back home real
I
fast.
think he does own communication stones. I
There
can't
you
remember
go.
what they're actually called, but it allows him to check in with his wife every once in a while.
Smart,
Yeah.
smart.
That's funny.
Depending
I'm gonna
if
be home
the-
late for dinner tonight.
Yeah, sometimes he has to tell her that.
Middle of a fight.
She packs him a lunch every day
Wow.
for the adventures.
She's very supportive of this.
Yeah, very
good.
supportive.
That's funny. What about you? Can you follow up with that at all?
I think that's the best character I ever heard.
It really is the
Holy-
best character. I had another character that was really fun. That was when I learned about the. Let's see, do I have my monster manual here? No. One of the coolest character races is the Yuan-Ti,
Oh,
the
yeah.
snake people.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
yeah.
They can be a human body with a snake head, They can be a half snake body, kind of like a mermaid. They can be a human body with a human head and snake arms. I also read, when I read that they can also be complete snakes, I created a Yuan-Ti Ranger who was a human body with a snake head, who had a pet. It was the ranger that you can get Beast Mastery or something, and so his pet was a giant anaconda.
That's cool.
So the anaconda would go in and he would shoot arrows from a distance. It would try to hold him while he would just like shoot him in the head. My party found out like 15 sessions later that was his wife that he was married to. But she was a Yuan-Ti, not a regular snake, and they were happily married. They'd been adventuring together for years.
Marriage is a common theme. That's great.
You know, it's kind of because everybody's wife is dead, everybody's parents are dead, so I'm like, you know what? I'm happily married.
You see, I was...
Nothing's going on. We went into business together.
There you go.
And I'm getting married soon, so...
You can have your future wife, play as that snake.
Yep.
There you go.
Give her like a D4, and then just...
Come on. The snake was way more powerful than that.
Does it have fangs bigger than a dagger, though? This could be a question.
See, it wasn't a snake, though. See, if it was a snake, it would have a low CR rating, and it would just be just a generalized, like, a beast from, like, the back of the monster manual.
Yeah.
But it was a Yuan-Ti pureblood.
Oh, okay.
So it was my same level, really high-powered kind of... The monsters always try to hit it, and I would say, no, it didn't hit. Sorry.
Oops.
It's not a regular snake.
Okay, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I can really match that. The only thing, like right now, I'm playing a so they made me play a girl because we didn't have any girls in our class, and I should have a problem.
That's why.
Yeah,
that's why you're playing.
Because I should have a problem with
Hey,
it.
we get it.
No, because listen, I
gotta have a balance.
They just you drew the short
Other
straw.
people call it other things, but
well, you see,
I think they just wanted you to like role play as a girl a little.
Well,
bit.
they
wanted
did.
To see that.
They did both. They didn't expect because I had a charisma of 22. I rolled it, and they're like, "You need to play a girl, you know, because we need somebody to like hit on and stuff." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm gonna be really bad at this because I'm super not gay." So I was like, plot twist, she's actually a lesbian. So now I'm just like this...
Just barking up the wrong tree.
Just hitting on all these ladies and stuff. And it's nice. Like, I'm not against it, you know, because I try to do that in real life. Not that it works out, you know, because I'm definitely not getting married.
You hit on lesbians in real life?
Yeah, I hit on lesbians
You're
in real
living
life.
your fantasy.
I'm living my fantasies. All I want to do
Maybe a
is...
disclaimer. Dungeons and Dragons isn't always like that.
It's pretty wild, though.
Only on groups that you want it to be.
Yeah.
Then, with that, make sure you pick a good group.
True. My group's wild, like... Yeah, it's... You don't know what's going to happen behind closed doors. It's... Yikes.
Yeah, that's crossing into detail. You say you play with your mom?
No.
Or is that a different group?
Yeah. Different group.
Okay.
This is the group with my friends and stuff. It's actually fun. I actually play with my ex and her husband. So that's...
Your ex. And
yeah.
so you play as a person who hits on lesbians with your ex-girlfriend in your group?
This sounds like a really crappy Hallmark movie set in the 50s.
Well,
seriously.
That's actually probably where I got the inspiration from.
Was she the one that needed you to become the girl?
I think she was definitely hinting towards it, so you know. Not. I think it was actually her husband. It was like, hey, you should be a lesbian. And I'm like...
Wait, so she's married?
Yeah.
So hold on, let me get this straight.
It's a Pizza Hut Express.
Dude.
You know, maybe I'm talking about? She's out of your league when he breaks up with the girl and then she moves in with her new boyfriend at his parents' house.
It's wild. It's a wild time.
You know what they say? They say no D&D is better than bad D&D.
Yeah.
That's true.
That reminds me of a group I was in. There were maybe 8 of us, which were way too many people.
Way too many people.
Yeah, like I just went to do Adventure League one night at just a local place
Is
here.
it Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Let's go play Adventure League right now.
I'm actually so down.
What time is it?
What's Adventure League?
6:30, 6:40. It's basically official D&D.
Oh, that's sick.
It's so fun. But I got in this group. There were 8 of us in it, which wasn't that fun.
Because there's 8.
Yeah, and it
one
was so hard
round
to do
of
anything.
fighting is hell with 8 people.
Yeah, so it was really funny because basically what happened is the DM was saying that we started in this town and we were supposed to go buy all our supplies.
You didn't start in a tavern.
Right?
Yeah. I'm surprised. For once, not in a tavern.
Yeah. But wait, this gets better. So then he tells us, he's like, oh, you're going to head out to the dungeon to make sure to kill the bad thing or whatever. And literally... Because we had so many people, an hour went by and we were still in the town.
Before you got your stuff.
Yeah. And me and this other buddy, and we joined the group. And this, by the way, I felt kind of bad because we were 5 minutes late. First time playing with this group. and they kind of just squeezed us in. We were the last people to join.
Yeah.
But because we were so bored, and I felt bad because the guy I brought with me, this was his first time ever playing. So I felt like, I kind of need to, spice it up, make things kind of interesting,
Make it look
or else
fun
I'll
and
never want
stuff.
to play again. So basically, what happened is while I'm thinking this, he leans over to me and he just whispers, "We should burn down the tavern." And then I just looked at him. I'm like, okay, yeah. So we went
Make it interesting.
went into the bar, took what he described as the most flammable alcohol possible. The bartender handed him like 4 glasses, and we just poured it all over the bar and lit it on fire. And the guards came and everything, but we managed to fight off the guards because our group was so big.
Because there's 8 of you,
Yeah.
8 level 1s.
So we
fighting
literally
guards.
turned the tavern into like Nazi zombies, like defending it from the guards. And at one point, the DM got so frustrated, I watched him take his campaign book, close it, set it down on the floor. He's like, "Well, we're not going to be needing this tonight." And then we just kept talking about how pretty much we burned the tavern to the ground, killed like 20 guards, and ran out.
That's awesome.
And it was basically 4 hours went by, and we didn't even leave the town.
You know what? Props to that DM though, because I've played with some
I felt
DMs.
so bad. He went through everybody in the group and wrote down their numbers because he wanted to get like an actual group going. Never texted me.
He's like, you're the punk that
Right.
burned down the tavern.
Well, I had a group once that when I was DMing, and I sent them into this town that had been plagued by this very thick black smoke. And it was very dark and very hard to see, and these adventurers were called in to fix it. And as a dungeon master, I love giving my players kind of difficult and interesting scenarios that they kind of got to use their noggin to think through. And so they meet with the priest at the front of the town, and he says, it's coming from the central point at the back of the church in the middle of town. We don't know what caused it. We know that it is highly, highly flammable, so we've kept all of our lights, all of our torches. Like, people in the town are very aware, and nobody can leave. So that's the issue. Once you go in, you can't leave. It's very tough to see, even dark vision. It's like magic obscured, very highly flammable. So they're walking, and they get to the town. They get to the very middle of the town. They can't see it all. They can see like 5 feet in front of them. They're being led by this main priest guy. And my warlock is standing behind the priest, and he's just like, "Well, how flammable is it?" And he says, "It's highly, very, very highly flammable."
As
will
compared to like kind of flammable.
Yeah, slightly flammable.
He goes, "It would be the end of the town." And for some reason, the warlock wanted to check if he was lying. And so he did cast like one of the cantrips that just produce
like
flame.
fire,
Produce flame. And I just said, are you sure you want to do this? The priest said it's highly, highly flammable. And he goes, "Yeah, I don't believe him." And the party was like, "Okay." And I just made the entire town just like explode. And people were like running on fire, and it was just like, and they were pulling people out, and 3 of the party died, and it was great.
It's pretty amazing.
When you forget you can do a check for intent, like
I think he did, and he rolled
failed.
really low. And I kind of laughed, and he's like, "No, you laughed. I know that this is legit." And I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
light it up, boys."
slide it up."
That's honestly when D&D is at its best, is when you plan something and then it just completely different direction.
They didn't trust the priest guy, and so they dragged his body out, and they found a note on him saying that like he was writing to his mother about how happy he was that the adventurers had come and that they were going to help him, and the town was already losing trust in him, and that he was so excited that they were here to
so
address
sad.
to his mom, and they're like, "Oh, why do you got to do that to us?"
I'm
amazing.
gonna be straight up. I have cried over D&D before.
Really?
Like, there was this one time.
Like crying laughing or like...
No, like cried. I was like
Wow.
sad. There was like such a deep backstory on this character that my stepdad makes. He was the starting DM, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but the character died, and I literally started to cry.
That's crazy.
I was just like tearing up. Like even like that touches me. I'd be like, dude, I wouldn't laugh at that. I'd just be like, I'm like such like a softie. I'd just be like, oh man, that's deep.
It was pretty lit.
Literally.
That was pretty explosive. No, I'm just kidding. I can't come up with a good pun right now.
Then you're fired.
Hey.
There we go. One of my favorite stories, this happened just Thursday, actually. I was having the team, or the party was going to transfer some cargo from one kingdom to another, and I had come up with like this full... Have you ever played like Faster Than Light on the computer? The Starship game?
No.
Nope.
Okay, so basically how it works is they'll have different checkpoints set throughout the map, and then you'd pick checkpoints to travel to, and then randomly generated effects would happen to each checkpoint, and it branches out like a web. So one of them was this inn that I was going to have him stay at that was haunted by a ghost.
What does this have to do with Faster Than Light?
Because that's how I set up the whole map, because they would pick out of 3 locations to travel to, then depending one of the locations they travel to, something would happen.
Oh, okay.
And then they would branch out from that.
Okay.
So one of the locations they went to was the inn, and it was haunted by a ghost. So if they stayed there over the night, I was going to kidnap one of them. And so I kidnapped this one kid because they did stay the night, and I texted him like saying, "Hey, just so you know, you've been taken over from the rest of the party. Don't say anything the next morning because you're not there." And so what happened is the party woke up, and they all were kind of skeptical, and they had like suspicious thoughts about, you know, the bartender. And so I had them all, you know, make perception and insight checks, and they fumbled all of them. And so they couldn't figure out that their friend was trapped in the basement about to be killed. So out of just like pure doubt, they literally just burned the tavern down and killed the barkeeper and then left. And they left the kid in the basement. They didn't even notice. And I made sure they waited till the next checkpoint to see like, okay, raise your hand if you're with the party right now. Because I felt really bad because the kid, this is his second time ever playing D&D.
That's on you as a DM.
Yeah, you just let him burn to death. No God save, no random NPC saving him. Just straight, you're dead.
It was pretty funny though, because basically I had this whole plan where they were gonna find him and fight the ghost and everything, but they ended up just burning it down, killing their friend, and then leaving.
How I DM now is rather than just say you're kidnapped, I try to go through with it. If he can wake up, if he can sense it, if he can fight back, then they're fighting ghosts, you know? Mm-hmm. Then at least the party is aware.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes fun to just be God.
Yeah. That's where it's the best.
Not that I'm a God complex.
Until you get kidnapped and are locked in the basement, there's nothing you can do and it burns down.
Yeah, in real life.
And it's your second time playing.
I did. It was a great impression.
And your party leader is a lesbian.
Dude, who fights with flying.
Oh. Hey, you know...
I think I'm kidding.
I'm fine with any lifestyle choices. A-okay with me. There's nothing wrong with that.
Can't say anything.
Anime object is a beautiful spell. All I'm saying.
Anime object. That's good. Okay. So what is kind of getting back on track here? What are you moving on to? Like, what are some future projects? So I know you've got the one book done. You're currently working on another, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does this one have a theme or anything, or is it just going to be like a direct sequel to, what is it called again?
The immersive battle maps?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next one is a dungeon, a full playable dungeon. Kind of choose your own adventure. You go through the top door on page 1, turn to page 20. But each room is totally flexible in that you don't have to play through the dungeon. It'll have the same type of look and feel of the first book in that you can pick and choose the rooms to your own liking and just kind of keep it in your back pocket in case you need a battle. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's tons of other ideas. We have a couple dice projects that are just going to blow people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
DM screen idea that, you know, just keep innovating. I want to be the Apple of D&D.
There you go.
What would you call that then? Like the moo fruit?
Like
what would be good fruit from D&D?
What's the berries?
Moo fruit.
There's like a berry spell that like is like a low level druid spell.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It just makes berries and like low like really small food.
Good
for
berry.
Survival.
Good berry.
Good
berry.
Berry.
That is such a good like company name.
Good berry.
Right?
D&D.
Good berry. G-U-D.
Good berry. Wow. That spell's pretty nice. Huh?
But yeah, if you had all the money in the world, what would be the perfect immersive battle map book?
If I had all the money in the world, I wouldn't make immersive battle map books.
Yeah.
Is that sufficient?
That'll do.
Is that a sufficient of an answer? If you had all the money in the world, would you continue to
Would you keep making books?
work at Best Buy?
I mean, you got me there.
What would you do if you had all the money in the world?
If I had all the money in the world, I would...
You know what? It would become instantly unvaluable as you destroy the world's economy.
Because you have it all.
You have it all.
Yeah.
Where would you even put it?
I would...
Try to give
I
back
would
to the people,
kind
but
of,
they'd all starve to death.
You'd be killed.
Yeah.
People
What I would
kill
make
you.
is I would literally just make like a fantasy kind of theme park, except it would host D&D games. But you would actually
They
like...
just opened one of those here.
But do they do
Yeah.
D&D? Because I was thinking...
You can go play D&D up there. What's it called?
It's like quests and
Evermore?
stuff.
Yeah.
Evermore.
Evermore.
But I was
It's
thinking,
so
like,
expensive.
what
It's
would
like
be
$60
cool?
or something.
What would be cool is you can go with like a little like a wooden box that can have a dice set in it and a character sheet. So like you can play while you walk or like do battles in real location.
With actual swords, it'd be like LARPing in D&D.
Let's see when Evermore is open
We need to
next.
talk to him.
Yeah, we do. I mean, if I had all the money in the world, I'd probably, like, try to solve, like, economic problems and, like, but whatever, like, a park is good, too.
too,
I mean, if people are starving, whatever, but it's all about the one percenters, here
There
in
are two
America.
kinds of people in the world.
Is Evermore open?
I think-
All the calendar stuff is saying blank.
I think I don't know. 'cause
I want to say they finished building.
I think
know
my
that.
friend went there.
It was open a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one of my buddies, he works as a like in the medical tent there. So like if people get hurt on the grounds, they go to him.
Yeah.
And he has some funny stories.
Too much
he told me.
LARPing.
Oh yeah, like he'll say that people will come into the tent and they'll still be in character even though they're dehydrated. And he'll be like, "Have you drinking anything in the last like 6 hours?" And I'm like, "Oh, I does not have time for liquids." I was like, "Just answer yes or no. Like you're dehydrated." It's pretty good. He says it's a wild time.
Is it open?
That's
I don't
so
know.
funny.
Explore?
I know it was for a while.
Seasons? Media contact?
That's so funny. Well, anyways, Evermore, if you're in,
right there.
if you guys are from Utah, check it out. Quality place.
Currently closed for the season. I bet they ran out of money.
Dude, they might have.
They might have because it did not.
Start off
I didn't
well.
hear by anybody that did it.
Well, it was so expensive.
Oh, let's see. What is Evermore page? Mythos lore coming summer 2009. So Mythos is coming soon. Lore is within the season's period already champion and found 5. So there's like a whole like story behind the park, but it'll be open in the summer.
Huh.
Quality.
Maybe I'll swing by.
Yeah. Go have a podcast there.
We just podcast while we
We
walk
should go
through.
rent it out and go play D&D there. Like a live action.
That's
Live
what I'm
action
saying.
D&D.
Yeah,
I'm
like
down.
you bring some dice on like a little wooden box. You can make your rolls on the box while you walk.
There you go. It'd be perfect. Next idea, we're gonna start a Kickstarter for.
Kickstarter. Evermore 2.
Everybody who donates gets free admission for one time. We make a giant party. That should be sick.
That'd
I'm
be cool.
down.
D&D party.
Please like if you're down. Thanks.
Oh yeah. So I was gonna ask you. So you're going to Reno, Nevada tomorrow, right?
Yes.
For
Gamma World.
Yeah, Gamma World. So have you been to anything like that before?
I mean, New York Toy Fair,
Mm-hmm.
SaltCon, Gen Con. Gen Con's kind of a gaming convention. But no, I mean, I've been to trade shows, but Gamma World is like strictly tabletop RPGs, board games, nerd culture.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So with that then, as we kind of go into the nerd culture, do you feel that nerd culture is kind of, as it gets more streamlined and a lot more people are jumping into 5th edition? Because I kind of noticed this the other day, that the biggest thing that hold people back from joining D&D is the nerd culture and like seeing the dudes in the, the neck beards, and they're just like too afraid because they feel like they'll be a casual compared to that person and like they look down on them. Do you feel like that's kind of a thing? That's like the thing holding people for everybody back from trying D&D.
Yeah,
Just
I
like
mean,
nerd culture.
it was definitely worse a long time ago when it was tied to Satanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think now the stigma is definitely dying out. More celebrities are playing, and it's becoming more streamlined,
Yeah.
which I think is cool because it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever played with like someone who's really into the nerd culture, like the white knight with like the neckbeard and the fedora?
Oh yeah, of course.
I think, well, it's actually funny bring that up because like me personally, I mean, you guys can't see us and whatnot, but like me, like I'm really big into like fitness and stuff, and the average person that looked at me would probably be like, all right, this guy does summer sales, like he lives at the gym and he probably just like tries to hook up with whoever he can, and he probably has like a 2.0 GPA. Like that's the kind of guy I look at, right?
And only some of that is true.
Right? But like in reality, like I'm over here playing Dungeons and Dragons, like I watch anime religiously. Basically anything that could be related to nerd culture, like I pretty much do. And then like back in like, it was a while ago, I was in a club for UVU called Different Dimensions. So shout out to them. I don't know if it's still around, but it was just a club full of everybody who's like really into that kind of culture, like LARPing, the White Knight kind of people, you know, nothing wrong with that.
We keep using White Knight. I don't know if you guys know what that term exactly means.
I just got it from a subreddit, White Knighting, where it's like guys who don't have any girlfriends, so they like really, really push the fact that it's because they're a nice guy or a white knight, and girls only go for bad guys. So they'll be like, "Oh, the only reason why girls don't want to date me is because I'm just too nice."
Well,
and he's standing there like
I think the term white knighting is just like defending girls for the sake of them being girls.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, they like make fun of a girl, and the white knights come to the.
Anyways, to use a better term, basically people who are really involved in like this culture, like the stereotypes, right? Because that's what we're talking about right now. Yeah. It's kind of like more stereotype stuff, and there's nothing wrong, no matter like what stereotype you fit in or what like people think you fit in, right? But anyways, a lot of people within that culture, and it was really interesting. Because even within that culture, there's people who just like really wanted to play like vanilla Dungeons and Dragons, and then there's people wanting to play like the newer stuff or whatnot. But what I found was interesting is they were like really welcoming, even though like I look like the dude that probably like bullied people in high school, which I didn't, by the way. I was bullied in high school because I used to be like this really chubby kid. Anyways, doesn't matter. But they were actually like really accepting, and they were like, "Oh, we like totally didn't think you would ever want to associate yourselves with us." It was like literally what a couple of them told me, and they were just like, "We're so glad like you're into like this culture and stuff." So I think it's something that's definitely expanding, whether that's like Dungeons and Dragons, whether that's like anime, and like that. The understanding is like moving out, kind of like with gamers, right? Because like back in the day, like gamers used to be the ones who were like kind of like the same culture we're talking about, right? And like all the jocks would pick on them, but like everybody I ever played football with, they all gamed. Yeah. They all played games religiously, and I feel like it's kind of like the same thing. That's kind of like the mixing pot for all this culture. But I don't know, just my couple cents.
Yeah, it's just like it's so crazy how easy it is to get into D&D now. All you really need is just the player's handbook, which you can get a PDF online for free, and then that pretty much tells you like how to make a character and play a character.
Yeah.
And then the absolute hardest thing of all D&D is trying to get a group together and have everyone be consistent.
Yeah, that's our problem right now, consistency, because of college and stuff. But
Cool. Well, I think we got a good time here. Is there anything else you want to add at the end? Maybe talk about the battle map some more, or anything you want to say?
No. No, I'm good. Shout out to my future wife. She's the best.
There we go.
I love
Steve and...
Her name's Lauren.
Oh.
Yeah.
What about Steve, though? I mean, you're basically married to Steve.
Steve's a good guy, but he doesn't compare.
Fair enough.
Cool. All right, well, thank you so much for this time, Tanner. And we're very glad and happy that your book is doing well. We're very excited to see what you're going to do in the future.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Fun time.
All right, see you when I see you.
I can't do this no more. 'Cause, girl, I'm sickened by the thought of it all. I'm just sickened by the thought of it all. Will me try to inform you. Love and lady sorrow, I grow numb.